let's go to Matt Ryan now. I've been looking at these contracts, and it's starting to look to me like the Falcons kind of have to trade Matt Ryan. He's really way too expensive for them. He's like 20% of their cap, something crazy next year. Plus, they have the 4th pick in the draft, so they can take whoever they want and move on from Matt Ryan and start over. If that's the case, he knows the Niners system. He's had tremendous success with Kyle Shanahan. He lost the Super Bowl, but he was way better in that Super Bowl than Jimmy G was a couple of years ago. I made the case for him. I mean, one more thing that's kind of nice about the Matt Ryan thing is the Falcons can't really trade him until after June 1. Before June 1, it's like a $31 million dead cap hit, but after June 1, it's like 14. Meaning the Niners could hold on to that 12th pick and trade their 2022 first rounder and start the package there. So that's the upside. Is he worth that 2020 first round pick of the 49ers?
For me, it's too soon to say because you'd have to see how free agency shakes out and how the draft shakes out. If they don't address the quarterback position at all, and you're left with Jimmy Garoppolo, and hopefully they upgrade the backup spot, Matt Ryan at this stage of his career is still better than Jimmy Garoppolo. So I'd consider it trading that 2022 first rounder because I see this team drafting in the mid to late 20s. You know, it's also too early to say that, but if they get back to where they were last year, that's where they should be. I don't really want a part of Matt Ryan, but I'd consider it.
My hesitation with Matt Ryan, at least, is you were talking about Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl, but I believe Matt Ryan took a really bad sack in that Super Bowl that they lost, and he's taken a lot of sacks this year. And if they're not able to re-sign Trent Williams, get Alex Mack or Corey Linsley and get a right guard, I don't think Ryan would be able to make it the whole 16 games just because this offensive line would really struggle. Mm-hmm. He's not that mobile. But as you said, Grant, they're at that 4th pick, and they hired Arthur Smith, who likes a mobile quarterback that can throw on the run, and that might make Ryan pretty available. So if they can get him for a 2022 pick, that'd be interesting. The bonus is they get to see how the draft plays out. So maybe they can get Rashawn Slater or whoever with that 12th pick, a cornerback, and be more flexible in that sense.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I like this option because it seems to me that like he's going to be available. They got to get rid of him. They're going to be in position to take a quarterback and to draft one, and he's too expensive. Also, he knows the system. He could hit the ground running. You get to keep that 2021 pick, which you could use on an offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? You could take the best offensive lineman available, re-sign Trent Williams, and play that guy at guard. And if Mike McGlinchey stinks, you can move him to tackle. You could have an actual plan B for Mike McGlinchey. That sounds pretty good. And then you're worried like, yeah, you're trading a 2022 first round pick though for a guy who's going to be like 37 in 2022. That's kind of tough. A guy like if they did trade it for Matt Ryan, he would only be on the team for 2 years, maybe 3, and then you'd be grooming someone else. So that's tough. But at the same time, you could get those picks back. Here's what I'm saying. You could trade. We could talk about this later, but you could always trade Debo for a first. You could trade Ayuk for a first. You could trade any Kittle. You could trade Bosa. There are ways to get that pick back. And again, if you get Matt Ryan and you're as good as you think you're going to be with Matt Ryan, who never misses games, then you're trading a late first round pick in 2022. It's not a huge asset to depart with. So to me, it kind of makes sense. What they do is you trade for Matt Ryan after June 1. In the meantime, you take an offensive lineman at 12 and your favorite quarterback available in round 2, groom him for 2 years, and have him be ready in 2023 when Matt Ryan's done. I kind of like it. Makes sense to me. Well, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is available, do that. But I think something weird would have to happen on Sunday.
Are we sure it's a first-round pick even is what it would take to get Ryan? Because wouldn't it be similar, I think, at least to the Alex Smith deal where it was a second-round pick and a player, I think, with the Washington-Kansas City trade. So is it even a first-round pick? So that does make it a little more interesting in that sense. But, I mean, that's 6 months from now. So who knows how it plays out.
So, yeah, but I guess if Falcons take a quarterback with that 4th pick, the Niners have to be ready because that means that Ryan's available and he might be their best option. He's definitely an upgrade. And you mentioned he took a sack in the Super Bowl. True. That was bad. His quarterback rating in the Super Bowl was 144. He threw I think he was 17 to 23 for 260 and 2 touchdowns. He was way better than Jimmy G. And if the Niners had Matt Ryan in 2019, I think they would have won that sucker. So something to think about. Unless Aaron Rodgers is.
I'd imagine, or I want to know what I mean, this has nothing to do with it, but what his QBR was in the second half, because that second half was. It
would be interesting to know. It would be interesting. All right.
I don't know the math.
But if they bring in Matt Ryan, they got to improve that offensive line. If they bring in any quarterback, they got to improve the offensive line. That's what makes this offseason so difficult.